Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another vlog. I don't know if you recognise that flag, but it's definitely not a Nepalese flag. This is the old English flag. I think it's the St. George's flag. Yeah, and you'll see a lot of those flying around outside people's houses in the UK, and that's exactly where I am. And I'm not on my usual bike, I'm on a different bike, as you can see. This is my, I've had this bike for about 5 years here in the UK, and I'm all packed up. I've got my tent, I've got my sleeping mattress, and I've got all my camping gear, and we're going to go for a little ride. I'm going to take you for a little ride. I'm in the northwest of the UK, in a little town called Southport, between Manchester and Liverpool. And there's some very nice coastal road here. We're going to go for a little ride along the coastal road, about 20 kilometres, and we're going to go up to a place called Formby, quite an iconic place in the UK. And there's a big forest up there, and you know, we're going to go up there and we're going to go and find a place to pitch the tent and do a little bit of camping. And I've got one or two interesting stories to tell you along the way about riding in the UK. So let's do it. So we're just taking a little shortcut now, as you can see, through this little forest. And we're heading out now. This is actually one of the wealthiest areas in my hometown, Selworthy Road. Houses are very big, very expensive. You can't really see that one, but these are the kind of houses that your football players from Liverpool buy. So, you know, it's quite common to see one or two football players around now and again around this area. And again, we want to cut through. There's another little passage here that'll take us right through to the coastal road. And then, as I say, we've got about a 10-kilometre ride up to a place called Formby, where there's a huge forest, and we're going to go deep into the forest. And usually it's very quiet. I mean, it is a Friday, so most people will be at work at the moment. So just down this little path, little bumpy, whoops, yeah. And this will bring us out onto the coastal road. All right, thank you. And that's where we're going, up there, Formby. And these over on the right over here, these are all the sand dunes, and they separate the main road, this coastal road, from the beach. Yeah, so we got about 10 kilometres along this stretch now. There's a little bit of a headwind, not too bad. The weather's been pretty, well, I've been back in the UK a week. For the first couple of days we had a heat wave, about 30 degrees, and then yesterday and the day before it dropped right down to about 20, and it was windy, raining. So it wasn't really good weather for making a video. Anyway, let's get on it. Yeah, so this bike, it's a good bike. I've had this bike for about 5 years. I bought this bike during the lockdown, and it's the second one of its kind I bought, because the first one, I had another one exactly the same. Prior to the lockdown, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, I used to live in Liverpool. I used to work in Liverpool, in the city centre, and I think it was the December before the lockdown started. 2019, 2020, and it was a Friday evening. This was when I had my first bike. Friday evening, and I just left my place of work. As you can see, it's quite popular. this route with cyclists. Yeah, I just finished work on a Friday evening. It was about 5 o'clock in the city of Liverpool, and I had about a 10-minute ride back to my home in the centre of Liverpool. Didn't live too far away from where I was working, and I was about halfway home. Been cycling for a few minutes, and I'd gone down this little back street behind all the bars and the restaurants. Very quiet little one-way street, very narrow. And I was cycling along, and a big blacked out SUV came right up behind me, inches away from the back wheel. Started going berserk, started beeping his horn, beep 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 beep. As I said, it was just a very narrow one-way street, and I couldn't go anywhere. Anyway, the next thing, the guy, I'm assuming it was a guy because all the windows were blacked out, the guy just rammed right into my back wheel and knocked me off my bike. Very luckily, I fell to the side of the road. Actually fell into all the trash at the side of the road from the back of the restaurants. And the guy just drove straight over my bicycle. Had I fallen down in the road in front of the car, I wouldn't be here making this video now. I'd be in a box 6 feet under. Yeah, so the guy just drove straight over the bike and he shot off down the road like a bat out of hell. My first assumption was he must have been drunk or something, drink driving. Anyway, the guy went off, but very luckily, as he drove over to my bike, which was completely destroyed, his registration plate had come off and it was caught in one of my wheels. So although he'd done a hit and run, he'd left behind his registration plate. Anyway, I went later that evening and reported it to the police in Liverpool. But basically they didn't do anything. They didn't even open the door to the police station. I had to tell them everything over the intercom at the entrance, because you can't actually get inside the police station. Anyway, never heard anything back from the police. So I thought, well, the guy must have had insurance. And in the UK, if you've got, I mean, it's compulsory to have insurance in the UK. So if you hit someone and knock someone down, your insurance, you're covered with your insurance, and the insurance should pay out. So I contacted a solicitor to try and trace the car and you know, pursue it, try and get some compensation. I had to go to the solicitor a few times. I had to go to a doctor for a medical report, and of course give all the details about the accident. Anyway, time passed. 6 months, 12 months, 1 year, 2 years, and it took almost 3 years. Actually, along the way, the solicitor found out from the police The car that actually hit me had been stolen about 10 minutes before he knocked me off my bike. Had the police come to the scene at the time, they may have caught him. But anyway, yeah, it took about 3 years before I got a little bit of compensation for that accident. But that was a pretty crazy, bit of a crazy accident, that. So we're about halfway now on the road to Formby, Liverpool. As you can see, coastal road. Got about another 5 kilometres to go down this side. But it's a nice ride and the weather's very pleasant, so I can't complain. So we're getting pretty close now. As you can see, this is the forest on the other side of the road over there. So we're going to have to cross over the road. There's a small entry that we can get in. And as you can see, it goes right back down there, all the way down to the beach. Over that side is the beach. So we want to get across here, down this little entry. Just check the cars, they come down here pretty fast. Yeah, so the gate's open, so we can just ride straight in. Let's get back on the bike. Oops. So it's a bit of tarmac until you just get down to the bottom, and then we get onto a dirt track. As I said, it should be pretty quiet because it's a Friday afternoon. Most people are still working today, apart from the guys who work in here, the rangers. Someone's in there screaming. So if we're lucky, we might see a bit of wildlife. They have deer, lizards, frogs. I'm sure you've all seen a frog before, but I have seen deer in here a few times, but that was during winter. Just got to watch out for these speed bumps. Yeah, so now it starts onto the dirt track, as you can see. Oops. And then now we're in for a nice little ride into the forest, as you can see. So as you can see, there's lots of little paths that will go through the forest, but it's still, even though you follow the paths, it's still quite easy to get lost in here. I've been lost once or twice before. It's a very nice place, very quiet, very peaceful. This totem pole, this was built or carved by a local artist. So the bird at the top, that represents like the buzzards or the local birds, and then below you've got a lizard. Don't know if you can see it, like a sand lizard. And I think the next one is supposed to be one of the volunteers that help work and that, do the work, the conservation work. And then down there you've got a little beetle, and then down at the bottom we've got a frog. And this is what's known as the Ainsdale totem, as you can see. Yeah, so if I actually follow this road, what I'm on now, this road will actually lead you right up to the sand dunes, like quite similar to a desert. Yeah, the sand dunes by the beach, but we're not going to go all that way because it's quite a popular walk, so we want to go somewhere quieter, somewhere where we can be more discreet. So there's actually, I think just here there's a little path. Yeah, so I think we'll take this path, in a woodland path, and we'll go down this side, because this one isn't so busy, as you'll see. The problem is there's lots of, well, this is a pine forest, lots of pine trees, so you get lots of pine cones on the floor, which makes the ride a bit bumpy. But as I say, the last few days it's been wet and raining and windy, so some of the pine cones might have been blown off the path a little bit, hopefully. Ah, there's a ton of them here, you can see all them there. Not best for cycling on. And now, yeah, as you can see, we're getting right into the forest, just like that. Wow. Very nice. So I'm having to walk a little bit. It's gotten very sandy on the floor. Just for a few moments, just get past this sand. And now we've come to a little, the path splits up here. I'm not sure which way we want to go. I think, yeah, so if you go straight, I think that will take us to the beach. But we don't want to get too close to the beach, because the closer you get, the sandier it gets. And you can't pitch a tent on sand. It's a bit, well, not my tent anyway, because it uses pegs. So I think I want to go this way. As you can see, there's a load of sand here. You just can't cycle through that. Hopefully get back on the bike down here. So I'm able to pedal on a harder surface again. Not so much sand on this part. I think again we're coming to another area, I don't know if you can call it a junction. Oh, I think I'll have to jump off now. Check out all that sand. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, so there's another little, yeah, the path splits here. In this hand. Yeah, look at all that sand. You can't see, people do cycle, people come on these electric bikes with these big fat tyres and do a lot of off-roading around here. Yeah, so I think we're going the right way. So I think we've got about, I think we'll go this way, I don't want to walk through the middle of those trees. Yeah, so I think we've got about a 15-minute walk, ride to a quiet little spot that I know. So quiet here. I want to get out here into the next part of the forest. So I just put my jacket on again. It got really cold. We're getting quite sheltered by the trees and that, you can see, and the sky's gone a little bit grey. I'm not seeing any other people, and the path is all overgrown, so it's a bit tricky. Now then, which way do I want? I think go over that side or this way? I think it goes around anyway. It's actually much better without a bike, because then you can really get onto some really small paths right into the forest. It's really cool little places. Like that one there, you see, you wouldn't go down there on your bicycle because it would soon get quite thick with bush. Yeah, so that little path just comes over here. I guess you can ride a little bit now, so I might hop back on the bike. Butterfly. Yeah, let's see if we can get on the bike. And there's a lot of foragers come around here. There's some people also come to pick the mushrooms, take them home, cook them in a soup and that. I saw some people picking them once, and I asked them to show me. So I went off and picked some myself, and they told me they were really nice mushrooms and everything. But that was about it. Anyway, I picked half a dozen. They were quite big brown things. I forget the name, Borcellos or something like that, I can't remember. And took them home, put them on a piece of newspaper, and within like an hour or so there was all these little maggots crawling out of them. And I thought, no, I don't think these are for me. Oops. See, it's very overgrown now. Duck my head. But the path's okay for riding, as you can see. And here it gets close to the edge of the forest and onto the sand dunes. So yeah, so here, oh, this is tricky. I'm gonna have to put my camera somewhere, but I'll just show you. Oh, just put my bike on its stand. Yeah, so as you can see, this road here goes around to the beach, just up on over these sand dunes. Yeah, you can just about see the horizon. Let's see if we stand on here. Oops. See it? Not really. But anyway, I've got to get through this gate with my bike, and it's very tricky. So, where we're going just over here in these trees. Now then, left or right? I think it's, let me check. Wow. Actually, that's where I picked the mushrooms, in that field over there. I don't know what that box is up there. There's something on that tree up there as well. I don't know what it is, it's not moving. Sometimes you see a lot of squirrels as well around it. Oops. I think we'll go this way. And again, I think it gets pretty sandy around here. Wow, that looks like someone's leg and a foot just like stuck in the ground. Wow. Yeah, so we're right on the edge of the forest here, and the sand dunes are just over there. As you can see, it starts to get sandy again. It's a bit of a pain trying to pedal in this. And again, do we do a left or a right? No, we don't. I don't think we do a left. Actually, yeah, I think we want to go, yes, here, this way. A little path. As you see, it gets narrow and it goes off the main path. The main path is up that way. So I want to go down here. So I think we want to go down here. Again, we're getting off this little path and it's a little bit tricky down here, but let's do it. I think I have to pick the bike up. Walk along. And get on this ridge. Here we go. Yeah. Go down, just go down. Oh yeah. Yeah. See, everything's very overgrown. I just got to get back onto this path, and it's very, very steep here. Oops. There's a path here. Oops, losing the bike, and we're back onto another little small path here. Okay, it's just logs, trees that are falling down. Oops, wow. Check it out. See, anywhere around here is out of the way, quiet, and as you can see, just over there are the dunes. Wow, I've got to pick it up here. And down here is perfect. Ooh. Do we get down though? Down here. The only thing you've got to watch out for, check where there's all branches. If there's lots of branches, you don't want to be pitching your tent under there. I thought about pitching over there one day, and then I saw those big branches over there. But here you can see it's quite shaded, and that's a good spot there. In fact, let's try it. Let's just park the bike up. Yeah. Might blow down a bit. Need it. Oops. Yeah, check it out. Incidentally, you're not allowed to camp here. No pitching tents, I don't think. It's middle of the afternoon, Friday. So, you can only just move you on, I think. As long as you're not lighting fires and having a barbecue. Okay guys, so we got inside, we got comfortable. Inflatable mattress, inflatable pillow. Unfortunately it's a slight slope. If I was lying dead on the ground I'd be alright, but this mattress slips around a little bit, but it's okay, as you can see. Yeah, it's okay, I think. And a nice view of the bicycle, all good. Yeah, I haven't used this tent for a few years, and I had to sew, there was a little hole here, I had to sew it up, and somewhere on the, along here somewhere, I had to sew it up a few days ago. I checked it out at home. Yeah, and then we've got the fly screen here, just undo it. Again, it's difficult with one end. Yeah. Yep. It's this one. Yeah, that's another bit there, we had to sew it up. But yeah, what was that? Keeps all the flies out. Anyway, I'm gonna have a rest for a few minutes, I think. So I've taken the rain sheet off because there were so many flies going between it. Anyway, now I've got a much better view. I can see right around. Yeah, and the sun's coming up, or coming out up there. Right, let's pack up. The sun is shining, but the clouds are rolling in. As you can see, it's very cloudy. A little bit of blue sky left over there. Anyway, I'm all packed up and we're going to get out of here. And I think we'll go into the town and get some food. Almost came off back there. I'm having to push it now. It's too sandy. Oop, I keep tripping up as well on weeds. It's very quiet still. Hopefully this will take us back out to that gravel road. I think I'm feeling a bit slack after chilling out in that tent for a while. Anyway, back on the gravel road. Looks like it's all clear. Got a couple of joggers coming. Anyway, let's get on it. So we've just arrived. Marine Drive. But we can't see the ocean, it's just so far out. These are all like what they call trawlers. They all go in the water for shrimps and fish. But as you can see, the water's just so far out, you can't see it. Lots of grass and then lots of sand. Anyway, look, we're just another couple of kilometres and we'll be getting some food. And I know a nice little spot where we can go and eat it. So guys, we're going to get some traditional food, some chips, maybe some peas, maybe cheese and onion pie. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat fish. As you can see, Swan Restaurant Fish and Chips. It's a very popular place, very delicious, and you'll see the significance in the name shortly. Geese and swans. But those swans are big guys, and they're all across the lake, all swimming. Anyway, I've got to find a place. Oops, just fall off the bike then. I've got to find a place sheltered, somewhere to eat this food. I think there's a place just up here I can see. Check out those guys. Wow. Mr. Whippy. Yeah, looks like, yeah, I get in one of these shelters down here, I think, and eat this food. So guys, it was a bit too windy over by the lake, so I've had to, hey, I thought that seagull was going to go for my food. I've got my food laid out over there, and the seagulls, they're cheeky little buggers. Look at him, he's sneaking in for the attack. Yeah, so I've laid my food out here. I got chips, sneaking in, yeah, chips and mushy peas. And I got a cheese and onion pie, but it's very, very soft, and I bet it's very, very hot. And this, guys, a grand total of £7.25, which is a lot more than I make on this video. So let's eat up. Right guys, I'm done. That was very, very enjoyable, that. Chips, cheese and onion pie and mushy peas. And check this guy out. Where's he going? On the old London Transport double-decker. So guys, I'm almost at the end. I'm back in town. I'm going to head home and chill out. Wow, check this guy out. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that little ride out into the countryside here in the northwest of the UK. As I said, there'll be a couple more coming up. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.